Hello everybody, Doomlarius here today, and I've got a video for all of you about this upcoming season for District 7. The one for my hometown, Wyandotte Bears, obviously. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So, clearly, we've got everybody in this certain type of standing. Now, everybody could be thinking, why the heck is Afton up there? They sucked last year. Well, I'm about to get into my reviews and predictions for all the schools, and my the way I will be going about this will be last year's records. Concord obviously had a really good season under QB Stormy Odell. 9-3, 5-2. They ended their win streak in a playoff loss to Pawhuska. I see them kind of going at it again this year, but not to the same extent of level. I don't see them beating Commerce. Now the Tigers, obviously, 8-3, 6-1. They did fantastic last year, except for a couple of games. Obviously, Pawnee, Pawhuska, and Kiefer were their 3 losses, and Pawhuska put them on a clinic, as well as Pawnee. I expect Commerce to go into this year with an undefeated district record. Now, Quapaw is one of the schools in the area that has had massive improvements on the football terms of things. I don't see that changing this year. I see them actually trying to push their way for a district championship this year. I'm putting them at number 3 for right now for my predictions for standings, but at the moment they're looking good. Now, Fairland, they are a tricky guess for me. I see them giving a push for a playoff run. It'll come down to between Fairland, Wyandotte, and Ketchum. Now, the reason I say Fairland is because they performed at the highest of the 3 that I just listed last year, beating both teams by a pretty good margin, getting their first win against Wyandotte since 2010. Look forward to these guys. Now, the Warriors, they had massive improvements last year from previous years. Clearly, they got more wins in this past season, than they did the past 3 seasons prior. Ketchum had massive improvements last year, and I don't expect improvements, but I expect them to be better. So Wyandotte, coming off their worst season since 2010, obviously going 0-9 to go throughout the season on a 10-game losing streak upon a previous loss to Morrison before the season started. The Bears are looking to try to get back to that level of power that they had before. Can it happen this year? I am hopeful. I don't know. Alright, the Afton Eagles. Yeah, I don't have much to say about these guys. Personally speaking, seeing what they put on the field since 2017, I haven't been all too impressed with Afton personally. Could they turn things around? Absolutely. Can this be the year that they turn things around? Personally, I don't believe so. 0-10 is the mark for these guys this year as well. I don't see Holbert pushing past anything that they've got from the past. The Riders, although have had some really good seasons, have not been able to get anything going since James Bruce graduated back in 2018. So looking at Wyandotte's schedule for this upcoming season, Game 1 a home game versus Oklahoma Union. It's not on here. This is the best I can get in my entire screen at the moment. Oklahoma Union obviously going to be a tough matchup. They run multiple types of options. They can hit you in shotgun. They can hit you under center. It's really difficult to defend against Oklahoma Union. Caney Valley, that's a game us Bears fans gotta watch out for. We know the last time the Bears traveled to Caney Valley, things didn't go so well on Caney Valley's side, at least. They weren't the happiest fans, and they didn't want to greet us with any respect. They didn't want to treat us with respect after the way the game ended. And, you know, one thing led to another, and they would not let that one go easily. Porter, that's a new game for me. I've never been to Porter. I don't know about other Bears fans, but I haven't. So this will be a new experience for me. So hopefully this could be a good game. Porter obviously loses a huge piece of their offense from last year, which was their 6'5" tight end. So we'll see how things go from that standpoint. Now, the game against Fairland should be pretty interesting this year. The Owls lose their number one running back from last year, so they're looking at taking a tad bit of a hit at that offense that they ran all over us with last year. So that could be an interesting matchup since we returned to Fairland this year as well. It could be a really good game. It could be a blowout. I have no idea. Fairland's looking a tad bit iffy on me, as well as Wyandotte. Afton, that's an interesting matchup. I don't believe Afton will like to put up less of a fight than last year. I look to see the Eagles come in to Brewster Field and give us a good fight and give us a good run for our money. Ketchum. We go to Ketchum again. That's going to be a tough game. They returned some linemen. Obviously, they returned, I believe, their starting wide receiver. A decent amount of their offense returns. I believe they could possibly make a run for playoffs should Wyandotte and Fairland dip down. Now on to the Hornets of Concord. Concord has been, I want to say, a thorn in our side, but they're Hornets, so just like an irritating sting, more than likely. Concord's been pretty good. They lose Stormy Odell, so that's something in our favor, but they also still bring back a couple of good linemen, as well as a couple of good backup running backs as well. They have a starting wide receiver who I believe will be tough to defend. So we'll see how that game goes. Now, Holbert is a game that I personally am ready for. As everyone knows, the last game the Wyandotte Bears faced off against the Holbert Riders, it was a 54-53 shootout, which unfortunately ended Wyandotte's district championship run. After going throughout the season, going undefeated in district, it was such a fun year, only to be let down by probably one of the best games of the season. Personally speaking, I believe Holbert won't put too much out on the field this year like last year. The Riders haven't been all too impressive, and they haven't been bringing in talent that really makes you look from left to right. Now on to Quapaw. Quapaw has a whopping 78 players on their roster. That is insane for such a small school, if you ask me. Quapaw obviously has been a really tough team the past few years. They haven't been able to make a push in the playoff run. Granted, that 2020 season, they were put into playoffs indefinitely. And they got through first round against Caney Valley, but that was kind of a gimme. A give me kind of a game. So I'm just going to kind of look past that, but not really, because they still won that by a blowout. The Wildcats are a team that I've been wanting us to beat for quite some time. After the 2019 season, where we fell to them. This year, however, is not looking likely for us to get that lucky, but I do believe we can make a push and give them more of a run for their money than last year. Last but not least is, of course, our bitter, hated rival, who is essentially our Oklahoma Sooners, and we are their Oklahoma State Cowboys. This is going to be a tough matchup. This is senior night. It's the last game of the season, and it's against Commerce. It's going to be a fun game for sure. Spirit-wise, if it's a blowout, it's possibly something that could happen, because Commerce has been blowing us out for many years now. The only time we were able to put Commerce back in their seat was when they came up with us against Coach Homer, and Coach Homer put on a 3-game win streak against them. The biggest issue with Commerce is now they return their starting quarterback from last year, who was a freshman, and he did pretty freaking good last year. And I don't see him doing anything less with the football this year either. I expect Commerce to go undefeated in our district and win a few rounds of playoffs. If they meet up against Cashin or Ringling, they're gonna lose, obviously. But I do believe that with Austin Lake at quarterback, it's going to be really tough to beat Commerce this year. Alright guys, well, this has been a fun experience. I've been learning new things about my editing skills with these videos, and I'm really learning more about the team as well. I'm really looking forward to this football season. This is all the time I have for today, and I will see you guys next video. Later.